Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be joined by this group of mentors. Most of them I've worked with or collaborated with for quite a good time. I will start with Pascale. Pascale Wazen is the Regional Director for Middle East and Africa at FactSet, with decades of experience leading financial strategy and high-performing teams across the region. She brings a sharp insight into scaling, metrics, and decision-making from her leadership roles at FactSet, Thomson Financial, and Refinitiv. Hope I pronounced that correct. Soha Nasser. Soha Nasser is a food engineer who turned entrepreneur with mentoring over 120 startups across innovation, business strategy, and market validation. She recently launched Acelera Agro in Angola, an agri-food innovation accelerator driving sustainable growth in the sub-Saharan Africa. And last but not least, Mansour Azar. Mansour works side by side with founders and SMEs, helping them scale, pivot, and find clarity in uncertainty. With a talent for turning ideas into action, he's guided companies through transformation, partnerships, and expansion, always focused on what really moves the needle. So this is the intro of the amazing mentors I have with me. And let's start with the fun, with the questions. So tell us about a time where you gave a startup advice and they ignored it. What happened? We'll start with Pascale.
Great. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. I thought we will be alone at this time, so thank you all. I'm sure you're here for us, yeah? So as advice, I would say, and I saw some of the great ideas earlier, not addressing challenging situation or shying away from conflict, because something like this can snowball, and even if you have the best service, the best idea, if you don't have the best team and you're not having the right leadership to address this, it will go sideways, I would say.
All right. Thank you. Soha.
Well, I think there is a lot of examples where startups go with our directions, and a lot of other examples where startups just neglect it and go with their intuition. And I cannot say that all the times they did not follow our recommendations, they did not make it.
Of course.
And we cannot say the other way around. So basically, because there is no right or wrong answer. And most of the times we tend to ask questions instead of just riding the wave, because they know better and they know how their business would work as well. They take our opinion, but at the end of the day, they are the decision makers of their own businesses.
Very well said. Mansour?
Thank you, Lara. So you reminded me actually of a startup I worked with. They work in trading financial markets. So we were discussing two business models. Do they go towards fund management or a SaaS service providing services for traders? I and other mentors said, let's do the fund since you have already the expertise. They decided to go the hard way. It needs more money, it's riskier. Of course, it's a bigger win. I think that I helped them ask the right questions. They took the big risk. I ended up being an investor with them, so they convinced me. And we'll see what happens in the next few months.
That's amazing. And I forgot to tell you, on the sides, you have a QR code, so you can ask the questions on Slido. I get them on my phone, and I can ask the questions for you. So moving on to Mansour again, actually. I'm going to stay with you.
Yalla.
So there are some scaling tricks that look super fun on social media, but they actually blow up in real life. Can you pinpoint one?
It's a good question. Well, first of all, I'm going to link it to the presentations we saw here. One of the presentation, I think it's UPaint, said they had 200,000 organic customers or organic followers. I think it's very important to build an organic following before you start your marketing spend aggressively. So we see a lot of tips online, affiliate marketing, influencer marketing, and people can go for spending the money. But if you build your organic following, it helps you build a good product market fit. You understand your audience better. So I think I would work on that. Another mentor told us once that a successful founder in Saudi Arabia, 10,000 is a good benchmark to have. And after that, you can spend on marketing.
That's very interesting. I'm going to jump to Pascale. And this question is, because you work primarily in finance, so generally everybody looks at the numbers from a specific perspective. They always obsess over revenue. So what is one metric that everybody keeps skipping over? And that is important, definitely.
Yeah, I would like to address this in twofold. I had a metric in mind, but then, the energy that I saw today brought another idea for me. So first, I would say what I would track is client retention. So I come from an industry where it's subscription-based, but even any of you, even if it's not subscription-based, look at your clients. How many are coming back to you? How easy it is for you to upsell into your clients. First, because it's easier to sell into existing clients, but also it gives you an indication that you're actually on the right track. You're doing something right. You're solving your client's problem. The service you're providing is adding value. So it gives you a lot of insight. But also, client retention is good customer service. Then this trickles down into word of mouth and bring you business and eventually growth and revenue. The second one that I would say is, walking around, I'm not from, an entrepreneur background, etc. I got fascinated by how exciting it is to build something from scratch, something completely new. And I would say take your time. You're building something, my experience is through large multinationals that buy other companies, and it gets so complicated to put things in place and get the right systems, etc. So take your time, get the right process, the right team, the right fit, the right vision. Keep your vision in line, fine-tune. It's okay to take a step back and look at things and say, okay, should I improve it, etc., because it will help you scale in the future efficiently. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Pascale. That's because generally startups want to go fast, scale fast. So sometimes it's good to take a step back, assess what's happening before going forward. Soha, you're known to ask the tough questions. So what is one tough question that you generally ask startups that makes them sweat a little?
Well, if you asked me this question 2 years ago, I would directly jump into market readiness or operations readiness. But today, my first question is, what is your cash flow management strategy? Because cash is your fuel, or now electricity, we can say, that will take your car along the road that is open for you, being at the market and the readiness. So the car is the technology or the operations, and then the road is the market, but you need the fuel or the electricity for your car to run. If you don't have this, you cannot grow as fast as you are planning. So cash flow management strategy.
All right. So Mansour, I'm going to jump to you with a question from the audience. When can a startup say that they have failed? When do they drop the bar and just drop the flag, raise the white flag and say, we're done?
Well, it's a good question, obviously. And it's about finding the balance between determination and practicality. Practicality, if they run out of cash and they don't have investors, that's one way. But on a more conceptual note, I think it's the product market fit and the value chain. If you get to a point where the customer is not willing to pay for what you have, and you cannot pivot anymore, that's probably a point to consider taking the experience and doing something else. But I would recommend, obviously, iteration, and trying to work around it before you get to that point.
Thank you for that. Pascale, I'm going to merge two questions of the audience for you. So, specifically looking back at your career, so what was a pivotal case in your career, a pivotal stage, and what scared you the most in your career, and how did you overcome it? So something that scared you became a pivotal point, and then you overcame it.
Maybe I'll go back a little bit. You know, I look younger than I am, but I would say Thomson and Reuters were merging, so two large corporations. I was at Thomson Financial. I was the youngest from the team, so in France, in Paris. So usually it's like when two large companies merge. In Paris, the last, like, or the least experience should be let go or something like this. So I started, and it was the year I was getting married, so a lot of pressure, etc. But I thought, you know what? And this is maybe when I got through an idea of becoming an entrepreneur. I said, okay, you know what? Worst case, what could happen? I would lose my job, but I'd get a check, and then I would do something that I want to do, like passionate about. I'm more into the creative side, even though my experience doesn't show that. So that's how I thought about it. Eventually, I did not get fired, but it made me think that I wanted a change, and it actually brought me back to Lebanon. So I moved from Paris to Lebanon with my French husband. We lived 6 years here. We had 2 kids. My husband speaks fluently Lebanese, so I found
that is kudos to you.
So yeah, I would say like taking something that might be a hardship and using it to really ask yourself the questions: am I happy where I am, or do I want to like move things around? And that's the courage that it gave me about, you know, like just, okay, why not? I would go back to Lebanon. Worst case, we don't like it there. My husband doesn't adjust. We move back to France. It's not the end of the world. And this experience gave me a lot. It gave me an experience of working in the region, which I didn't have before. And through that, I also, you know, got more experience. Because I find something that maybe you should all be proud of is, and that's what I tell my team, if you worked here and with our clients and with how the region has so much differences in the type of clients and the, I would say, educational side of what we do with our clients, you can do whatever you want in the world. So,
Thank you for sharing something that is as personal and might give some others lessons learned. Soha, I'm going to jump to you. Looking at the earlier stages of the startups, do you think they should focus more on branding and positioning, or they should focus more on the product and the user experience?
How early is that? Depending on how early is the stage of the startup, because if they are still idea stage, they need to focus on none of this. They need to focus on the need of the customer and understanding their customers. After this, it is a balance. We cannot push one pillar over the other. Marketing and branding is needed to present and to communicate your product to your clients, and speaking their language is very essential. And product as well, from the other side, and technology and operations is very essential for you to deliver the product to your clients that you promised through your brand. So there is no compromise between both. They should go in line, so the startup can really provide a full solution for their clients.
Very important, because generally people think if my product is good, people will know about it, or if my branding is good, people will forget about the user experience and the product. Merging that is the way to go. So it seems we're short on time. I'm lost between 2 questions. I'm going to go with the one from the audience, but let's try to make it as fast as possible. It's short and sweet. Risk or plan?
Risk or plan?
Yalla, Mansour.
Risk.
Risk.
I'm going to say plan, just to be a little bit balanced.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys, and good luck.